But man, oh man, now it's time for our top 5 segment, man. And this one is going to be super exciting. Going to be some throwbacks for you guys to go back and listen to. This week, it is top 5 favorite top 5 list of our previous shows.
Yes.
It's a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff. I mean, we've delved deep into a lot of different topics of entertainment, a lot of different topics of like nature, filming locations.
I mean,
it's crazy.
I was going back and looking at them. I was just like mind blown about what we've talked about on these top 5 lists. I mean, guys, we've done 4 full years and are in the middle of our 5th year. That's a lot of top 5 lists.
Exactly.
So, but here we go. These are some really good ones, though.
They really are. So for number 5 for me, it is video games. Video games have always been a good pastime for me. It's always been really good for my mental health because it like takes me out of my body basically to where I can focus on other things and like kind of not focus so much on life and overthink things because, you know, we live in a society where you can just go down a deep rabbit hole and you cannot get out. So video games have always been a special way for me to, you know, just get away from this world a little bit. And we did that on episode 189. So if you want to listen to our top 5 video games, be sure to go back to that episode and listen to it.
That was a favorite one for me because of the age gap. The video games on those lists were very, very different. I'm confused, though. You mean, you know, playing video games doesn't inspire you or somehow make you mentally unstable to want to get a flamethrower and try to kill people?
Fuck people, man.
No. Games don't do that.
Exactly.
You know what else doesn't do it? My number 5.
Yes.
This is where I park on the couch and unleash my stress and make my happies. I'm talking about favorite cartoons. And I went all the way back to season 1, episode 36. You got to dig deep to go find this one. But this was really fun too because again, you know, we have a bit of an age gap. For you new listeners out there. And so our list of cartoons was very different and yet the same. We had a couple of sames on there too. So it's always kind of cool to see the generation span and see what's there and what isn't that's held over. And so that was really fun. Favorite cartoons. I bet you guys can kind of figure out what my Super Friends and Smurfs.
Yeah. That's so funny. Well, number 4 for me goes to favorite tentpole franchises. These are literally the films that define box office releases. The summer is like a very special time to be a film lover, a movie lover, going to the theater with your family or by yourself. I'm a big fan of going to the theater by myself, man.
Me
like,
too.
I mean, you get to spend some alone time. And like, it's kind of like video games where you get to like take a mental break away from everything else and you get to kind of just chill, relax, and think about all these different things. But tentpole franchises are great, especially right now with all the different pop culture stuff that we have out. Of course, Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and all the different adaptations of the video games. So yeah, I feel like that's a really good one, and we had a lot of the same and a lot of different. I think you might have put Indiana Jones on there though, which I do not like Indiana Jones. So.
Which is another top 5 that didn't make the list, but you should go listen to that one too. Beloved films that we hated. Yeah. Like we were both had one that we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How do you? That's a good one though, and we split DC Marvel because if I remember correctly, it's the Dark Knight trilogy and the MCU franchise, and so we were like, that's how it's going. So my number 4 is one that's on your list as well, and I had a lot of fun with this one because I'm a huge fan of this guy. I'm a huge, not so much as just an actor, but as a director. I think this is one of my people that I inspire to be like as a director. I'm talking, of course, about Clint Eastwood, and trying to pick 5 Clint Eastwood films was extremely difficult. This man has had so many great films as an actor and director. It's like, you want 5? What?
Right.
But yeah, that was so good. I mean, and to tell you how good this top 5 segment is, it's my number 4 and...
It's my number 3, and I think I really enjoyed this one because I got to go back and watch a whole bunch of stuff that was before my time that I had never seen before. That's what happens when all of these classic movies come out before you're even born. But I really enjoyed this one because it had me really sit down and like look at his process, look at how great of an actor he was and is, I should say, and how great of a director he still is as well. So it was really cool thing to see him go through everything. And I watched a little behind the scenes documentary of him too, and how he keeps the same people on every set. And he doesn't even yell action or cut. He just kind of says, "Are you ready?" She said, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay, go ahead." And like, it's very laid back. It's very like formulaic in their certain formula. So I love to see it. So yeah, number 3 for me is Clint Eastwood films.
Hell yeah. And for all you up and comers out there that are aspiring directors, do not do that.
Yeah.
That's because he's kept that whole crew with him for literally decades, and they know when he's ready.
Exactly.
Like, don't do that.
That's episode 170 if you want to go listen to that one.
Yeah, such a good one. All right, my number 3 is episode 141 from our 3rd season. It's dream guests that we would love to have on the show. And that list of 10 people, sure, we're shooting for the stars on that bad boy. Sure. I mean, we have some people that are like massive in the world of pop culture and in the entertainment industry that we would love to have on this show and talk to. And it's hard not to love that list.
Yeah.
And again, I hate Jason every time he makes us do it. Trying to narrow this thing down to 5 people was like insane.
Yeah.
We could literally do our top 50 guests that we would love to have on the show. I mean, come on now.
So good. Man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's you got to listen to that one.
Yeah, it was a lot of good stuff and a lot of good people who we like look at as like mentors or people who we aspire to be like and different things like that. And I like honorable mention to the dinner guest one. Who would you want to eat dinner with or eat a meal with? That was really fun.
Which is right around that same area.
Yeah.
So just if you listen to a little block of shows in that time, you'll listen to that one too.
Yeah, you'll find it. Number 2 for me goes back to episode 126, and that is gangster films.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know I love this type of content. I love people breaking the law in fictional land. And let's not break the law in real life because fuck, man, this country is already crazy. But I just, especially content about, fucking mobsters, that's my shit. I really want to go to the mob museum. When we stay in Vegas, I want to stay at the Flamingo. Like, everything about the mafia is so interesting to me. Organized crime is like one of the guilty pleasures in my life, and that's definitely on the bucket list of fucking making a film about. So that's really exciting.
Are you made? You sound like you're made.
I mean,
I'm just gonna say,
I had a little Mother Mary burning in my hand while saying a few Hail Marys. Like, I don't know.
Well, definitively, I mean, the number 1 at the top of the list was clearly The Godfather. It's not only the best gangster film ever made; it's most likely the best film ever made.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, and by the way, can we, Jason, can we do a top 5 shows about gangsters? Because The Offer, number 1. That's the number 1 show. Oh my gosh!
So
all right,
good. But gangster films. That's episode 126.
Yeah. So my number 2 was like very recent. It's this season. It was just a couple of shows ago, actually. Episode 196, Childhood Idols. It was a difficult one for me, but it was a great one for me because it brought up reminiscing and thinking about my little brother, and it literally brought me to tears. It was a very emotional moment in that top 5 list for me, which is why it's one of my favorites and so close to the top of the list. If you want to hear me babble like a baby and cry, just go listen to that one.
No one wants to
But
hear.
it's a really good one. It's a good cry for a good reason.
It
And
is.
there's 4 other great idols on there and 5 fantastic idols that Logan lists. It's a really good list, and you definitely want to check that one out. Childhood Idols.
Yes, that's a good one, man. It really is. Number 1 for me should be by no surprise. Just like he is a huge comic book geek, I love fucking Star Wars, like, to the death of me, man. Like, I was watching Star Wars when I was like teeny tiny, and
because they're space gangsters.
They literally are, man, and like it's so political.
Vader's a godfather. Let's just admit it.
Yeah, he really is. And like Star Wars characters, there's so many good ones, and there's so many good ones that we're being introduced to now with the shows. And I mean, young Leia, come on, she's her own like fucking amazing princess. I mean, and Din Djarin from Mandalorian. Like, there's so many awesome characters that we are finally getting to see. That is just not the Skywalker family, even though Anakin and Darth Vader are my number 1 pick. But still, I mean, I just everything about Star Wars. I love it. Go watch Obi-Wan, Disney Plus, season finale last week. So fucking good. That was episode 112, so be sure to check that one out.
Yes. All right, so my number one, big in every way possible. Not only is it our big 100th episode, not only does it have the always amazing Autumn Reeser on it, it has, of course, our forever guest joining us for this one. My number one all-time is favorite books, which is now affectionately called the ITCAF Book Club. It was myself, Logan, Autumn, and Rebecca listing off our 5 favorite books, and we got such a great response from that show in that top 5 list. Everybody wants them back to do it again, and it was so good because we all learned books that we hadn't really heard of or kind of talked about before, and I'm not even going to lie, I have all of them now. I own all of the ones that people suggested. They're great fucking reads. What better I love reading, and so if you can educate yourself and also gain knowledge and outlook and perspective through books with all these amazing stories, how could it not be number one on that? It's an amazing episode. It's an amazing top 5. You guys should totally check that one out. My number one favorite books.
Love it, man. I freaking love it. Well, what was your favorite of our favorite top 5 segments? I mean, honestly, they're all great. There's none of them like ever miss a beat. So they're always very entertaining. We got to give credit to our podcast producer, Jason. He's just fucking making life difficult every single week. But we appreciate him because he's amazing. But yeah, be sure to comment below or, give us that info on Twitter.
Oh, hey, you guys are still here? Well, we love to see it. Thank you so much for watching this video. We really appreciate it. If you really enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications that are coming out of Crazy Am Media. We talk about everything entertainment news on ITCAFpodcast every single week. And if you want to listen to that whole show, be sure to go to your favorite podcast platform where you can start streaming it now. We interview your favorite celebrity guests, talk about top 5 segments, and so much more. We appreciate you guys for sticking through it and getting a little crazy with us. And of course, you guys know we are a film and television production company as well. So we talk about everything about the entertainment industry. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media pages. But we just really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for getting crazy, but be sure to stay crazy, my friends.